Hello, beautiful wild woman. Welcome back to the Wild Woman podcast. I am your host, Henna Furore, and absolutely delighted to take you, me, us for another journey in this beautiful space where we are always traveling in the energy that is in pursuit of your depth, truth, and inner wisdom. So at the moment, I'm here again, very cozy, nestled, warm, and in my own home. Try to isolate myself a little bit because in Australia at the moment, this time of year, the choir of cicadas is going nuts at all hours. If you don't know what a cicada is, it's a big bug that looks pretty much like a giant fly that just, there's ton of them, many of them, and they just scream like crickets in choir 24 hours and can be quite intense, especially because at the time, for example, if I tune into the Northern Hemisphere energy, is this silence, is this snow, everything's tuned down. It's like this quiet middle of the season, restful time. And here in Australia, I feel like the rest comes just because for how hot it is. And I've come to this realization that like actually I can kind of for myself coming from the cold climate and really missing the cold, dark time, restful time of the year. I think the teaching for me here is to turn this heat, unbearable heat sometimes, into this same restful time of the year where I actually decide for myself minimal input, minimal effort, and doing like things in a recovery mode, which is maybe sounds a bit like gloomy, but actually I think it's very wise, to be honest, to do things in accordance to your energy, in accordance to something that doesn't deplete you and doesn't like force yourself out what would feel natural, and something that is in alliance with yourself and kind of making the best of the situation instead of trying to constantly overcome circumstances. So yeah, I feel like the hot time can be as much as restful time as the cold if we allow ourselves to do so. And also on that note, I wanted to a little bit speak into this new year, new me energy as well. What I've noticed is like there's this big, energy. I've been speaking about it here. I've been speaking about it in ceremonies, circles, private sessions, a lot. Like there is this beautiful window of opportunity, of course, as the new year starts, the new month, like this new opportunity, current opportunity, open window of opportunity to kind of jump onto this train a little bit, reflect on the year has passed, ask yourself what is that you would like to decide for yourself, what is the energy you would like to take to the new year. But also let's not forget that actually in all areas in the world at the moment, we are in the middle of a season. We are at the moment at the peak of either the long days or the long dark times. So yes, it obviously starts to change already. So in the Northern Hemisphere, the days start to go a little bit longer. There's more daylight. The nights are getting a little bit shorter again. And for us in the Southern Hemisphere, here in Australia, for example, if you start to now pay attention, where does the sun now drop, if that's your thing, or where the sun rises from, that arch, sunrise and sunset, this is getting just slightly smaller now as the seasons will change and as we are going now towards that Australian winter again. So it's beautiful to watch the seasons change because whether we want it or not, we are constantly influenced by these changes of light, changes of temperature, changes of how nature works. We are part of this nature, and if we're constantly trying to override it, overcome it, always like work like only to what we feel like we should be doing, then there is this undeniable amount of this certain amount of friction, always this certain amount of resistance, this certain amount of this push, forceful energy that we also have to overcome then. And my goal for myself personally is always finding the beautiful balance between what is something that is happening around me and also what is within me. I know I am the source of my life. I am the source of energy. I am the source of creative energy. I am the source of that flow. And I'm also the one who is here with choices to create, not to create. Every no also creates a result. So it's very important for me to constantly stay in tune with myself and not always force myself to feel good or feel like I've done everything perfectly. For example, past couple of months actually already, I've been on a bit of a energy that is like on bit like a cruise here, and I believe I spoke to it in the last episode as well. And I feel like it is this reflective mode where we are in the middle of a season and we're meant to take this complete rest time, because let's be honest, holidays are some of the most triggering time of the year. It's high energy, high expectations, high pressure. Whether you are someone who holidays alone or with your partner, you're moved away from all of this, you're still influenced by all of this emotional pressures. Like you miss your family, you want to be with them, you do everything from a distance, you still go through the whole process. Or even if you are celebrating with the big family, then you are getting all the pressures in real time, as in like having to cook, having to meet up, people trigger each other, going through all of these big cycles of being triggered and then working through these triggers and emotions that come with them and the new learnings that come with them. It's constant. So I feel we have truly deserved taking this bit of a time at the moment to just chill, enjoy this full moon time at the moment, which is called the wolf moon at the time, which is pretty incredible as well. And just chill for a moment and stop looking for constantly things to fix, or how we constantly need to fix something about ourselves. I feel like the more we kind of let go of all the resistance, and the more we allow ourselves to be where we are with honesty, with this brutal, vulnerable honesty, and we admit ourselves like where we are and how we're feeling, then we get to live in this alignment. We get to be understanding ourselves. We get to be our own kind of bestie and our own team member. But imagine like constantly pushing yourself, trying to get over the fact that you're tired, trying to get over the fact that you haven't been to the gym, constantly forcing yourself to be somewhere else than where you are. Imagine if you tell the same intensity, the same stories to someone who's living with you. Most likely it's not a very comfortable, safe, lovely, nourishing, relaxing space them to be. But we do this to ourselves all the time. And I've like kind of sharpened my own ear and energy to this, to kind of weed out these moments where I'm putting just unnecessary pressure and force on myself, and just kind of bringing this into my awareness is already helping for me to like let go. I don't need to do like very often some big processes to change my behavior or thoughts. It's more just realizing, oh my gosh, I've been doing this, bringing it out of the shadows into the light, and then just deciding then and there, well, that's enough. For example, I remember one of my mentors used to tell me all the time, you're just so hard on yourself. And I'm asking myself, like, how? What? Like, how am I hard on myself? Am I hard enough on myself that I haven't built more? I haven't created more? Haven't done more of this? Haven't done more of that? I have barely worked this week. Like, what do you want from me? Like, how much do you want me to relax? But then when I actually hear the in a conversation with myself, it's constant pressure. I'm sitting down to relax and I'm thinking, oh, actually should jump up, put the laundry on, should do the dishes really quickly, should like, oh my gosh, I really have to vacuum the floor. Have I gotten back to all these people? Like, have I checked in about their appointments tomorrow? Have I updated my website lately? Even if I'm taking myself for a morning walk, I am constantly thinking almost like, oh, I have only 45 minutes here to walk. If I would walk faster, I can fit more steps into my 45 minutes. And it's just you just realize, oh my gosh, like just stop punishing yourself for whatever you think you're punishing yourself for, or whatever you think you are achieving with this constant nagging on yourself. It's not happening. It's not giving me, you, us, the results that we think it is. It just creates more pressure. And also, like, if we start to really look at it, like, a lot of the habits that we try to create here in the new year, new me energy, we do it with this like ideal version of ourselves. We do this with this high expectation energy, which is beautiful. It's beautiful in a way that if our goal is to learn to hold it for ourselves. But very often we go into these promises and then like obviously they fall out really, really fast, because then they come with this high pressure to do everything perfectly every single day. And we don't give ourselves any kind of flexibility to actually live in accordance to how we feel today. Particularly for women, we are a different woman every part of our cycle, and women who go through menopause, they are in constant chaos with like, I don't even know, like just in like I have many women come through circles and private sessions who are in this time when they don't even know where they are in the cycle, because the cycle is not anymore exactly a cycle. So we need to be able to just give ourselves that flexibility, or even just remember to ask, how are you doing today? How are you feeling today? What is my energy like? What would feel nourishing for me? And yes, I can go for a walk still, but maybe I'm not forcing myself to do what I did yesterday because I'm a different woman today. I'm a different woman from 5 minutes ago. I'm a different woman from moments ago. So why are we constantly forcing? We don't have to invent a new day every day. We don't have to invent a new schedule, new activity every day. But we can definitely adjust the activities that we already love and do and trust and enjoy. We can do them in accordance with who we are today. Because that's one thing I have noticed in kind of like, being obviously immersed in the healing space, in the self-development space, in that industry, in this field, being in this energy and surrounded by these conversations all the time. It's kind of like this position gives me like this view, this view where I'm starting to see like the patterns and currents and repetitive things flowing through womanhood, because I'm so close to it. I hear very often stories, like they come as threads throughout the weeks or months, time of the year. Excuse me, something's tickling in my throat. And one of these things I am noticing, besides that constant pressure, is this looking for these things to constantly fix. Few episodes ago, I did an episode called The Positivity Trap, where I spoke about how sometimes women, people in general, but here in that space, speaking more directly about women specifically, it's about how we sometimes get into this like this trap of constantly affirming ourselves something really positive, or something that is just a big concept, and we believe we're meant to be somehow like believe in it or get behind it, or feel completely differently, or be transformed or healed by certain words or saying certain things, affirmations, quotes. But the experience of it is actually very different. For example, like, I've had clients who just write into their diary or say to themselves, I am love and light. I am a child of the universe. I am one with the universe. And the fact is, it's true. Yes, you are a child of the universe. Yes, you are one with the universe. Yes, you are love and light. The difference is, how much do you believe it? How how much is it an actual, very bodily experience, energetically charged experience for you to actually feel it and to believe, get behind, recognize this as your truth, that you are that universe, you are God within, you are Mother Nature. As much as you are witnessing universe, Mother Nature, we are it and we are in it at the same time. So once you actually start to stop actually masking how you feel with this very big positive words that you're trying to say but don't actually believe in, then honesty can come through. Then we can access this stagnant energy that has been suppressed, has been waiting for its healing. It's been waiting for this time when you are ready to release it, process, feel it, work through it, shift it, let it go. Once it has done serving you, moment of truth is very important there, that you can admit to yourself what is that actually feels true for you, what is actually present for you, because the universe doesn't care what you're trying things to look like. It always only responds to how things are truthfully. What is your experience of yourself? And if your experience isn't I am love and light, then you are most likely trying to cover something up, or you're plain lying to yourself. And sometimes people get stuck in this positivity trap, and it's not good. And if that's your experience of self-development, most likely it's time for some change. It's time to explore different approaches. But also sometimes then people swing to the other end of the spectrum, where they are now swimming in this pool of truth, which is the pool of problems. They're starting to see, oh yes, where everything's coming from, my parents, my childhood, my partners, the collective problems, the collective pain, all of that. And people tune so much into it that they also lose magic, that they also lose their own wild woman energy, that they also lose their own truth, because everything becomes about almost like only looking for problems, because it's so rewarding, Sometimes when you realize this, almost like this in your inner garden of yourself, you find this weed that you just did not see it before. And all of a sudden, beautiful roses are hidden behind this big weed that now we need to kind of uproot and throw out. And the view is clearer, beautiful, more lighter again. And it leaves a lot of nourishment for everything else in your inner garden that wants to grow. But very often self-development is not only every day making way through big breakthrough after breakthrough. Very often it's in subtle, very simple moments where the weeds you pluck in are actually tiny, but still you've done yourself a huge favor. But sometimes we get stuck into these massive transformations, these big breakthroughs, these cathartic releases that we then start to chase. And it's like the visual representation for this, what I see is almost like you, instead of fixing one thing in the house and putting the hammer down and enjoying the things being fixed, now you spend your whole weekend breaking something just so you can fix it. Or just walking around with the hammer throughout the whole weekend. Instead of enjoying the weekend, you're looking for something to fix. There is a big problem here. If we are constantly stuck in this only, I want to repair to feel good, I want to repair to feel good, I want to look for problems so I can fix them to then be invalidated by how well I can fix them or how much I can control things. The problem then is we do start to orchestrate situations so we can constantly be validated in that cycle. Again, magic lost. We forget then to tune in the truth of also what is already working. So I guess the goal here is to find the beautiful balance in the middle. The beautiful balance for you, which the middle for you can be something very different that is middle for you or any woman standing next to you. What is the balance for you today? Are you in a contemplative mood that you would actually like to kind of ask yourself, like, how am I feeling? Where is it coming from? Where is it attached to? Is there something bigger here that I could speak to my coach to? Or is it something that I can shift or would like to shift or meditate over to gain some insight? Or am I actually just looking for problems and I can make a simple choice to just tune into something that is already working, that is already beautiful? Have I given myself enough credit lately? Have I taken some of that pressure off? Have I kind of sharpened my own inner ear a little bit, listening to my own self-talk? And can I just stop some of the behaviors that are not supporting me, instead of constantly looking for what are these big things that needs to be fixed? What are these big things, these traumas, these big stuff that sometimes self-development world keeps feeding us, that there is constantly something there? And in many ways, yes, there is. But they will present themselves, these big things, these healings, these transformations. If you've been on this journey truthfully long enough, you'll know they will present themselves to you, whether you look for them or not. They will surface, they will show, they will be kind of showing themselves in ways that like you will eventually notice. So you can relax. You don't have to be constantly worried about what's the healing here, what I'm constantly need to be like looking for something to fix and only worry about everything that is wrong with me. We're meant to enjoy the beauty of us. We're meant to be able to tap into the gorgeous side of us, and knowing in some ways the work will always continue. The human experience is filled with emotions, emotional triggers, things that make us emotional in so many ways. And emotions are the journey most of the time. Not so much even sometimes the mindset. It's more just everything is about how we manage our feelings. And if you really think about it, you can heal from one thing, but you can feel sad about something completely different the next day. But the feeling is similar. Sadness will still feel like sadness, but it doesn't have to mean that now you have still this enormous big piece to heal. Rather than it's about your mindset, realizing, well, actually, can I just not make this feeling here, this sadness, can I not make it mean something about me or who I am, or how the past work that I have done, all this healing that is not now working all of a sudden, that it's all down the drain. It's all like wasted investment, wasted time, wasted this, wasted that. The feelings will come and go. Let them go instead of let them to move in, right? And that's where our own awareness and our own ability to choose is very, very important. So we can choose, is it something that I need to at the moment really delve deep into or search for something? Or is it something that at the moment I can just feel through, accept, release, and come back to the things that are also here? Everything exists at the same time. Everything exists in the same moment. The ability to see the problems that will show up anyway when they're ready to be healed, when you are ready to be healed. They are there. This almost like this live wire filled with electricity starts to bubble up, that is ready to like release that electricity, release that energy. That will happen as a natural flow. We don't need to force it. We don't need to look for more things. Or can you choose something more beautiful? Choose beauty within yourself. Choose yourself, choose your energy, choose noticing your energy today, and allowing yourself to like flow in that energy as well, where you are respectful towards yourself, not expecting yourself constantly to change. I've even noticed like in circles and ceremonies lately, sometimes women are coming and it takes like courage to admit that, oh, actually I didn't feel like really being here today. It's just not the vibe for me, but I really was trying, and here I am. And the thing is, these are the spaces, like life in general is not meant to be this, that you are constantly adjusting who you are and how you think world wants you to be to that version that exists in your lying mind in that moment. Sometimes our mind is lying to us. It's create these unnecessary expectations, who we meant to be or who we think we meant to be, how we want like the world to like see us. But we are the ones who have to always become that person for that moment then. But imagine if you're going to a circle or you're going to some outing like who is not you, with that mask held up. When comes the time when you are actually allowing yourself to be you and being witnessed in being you, instead of changing yourself, which can be exhausting? Because that's the thing, if things are exhausting to you unconsciously, these things will eventually drop off. You won't want to go to the circle. You won't want to go out with your friends. You won't want to meet up for brunch. You won't want to go for a social gathering. You won't want to go out on a walk. You don't want to go to the gym. You don't want to do this, don't want to do that. Life gets pretty like, it shrinks more and more. And just contracts around you because you are out of balance with yourself, and happening because you do what your mind tells you rather than where you are actually at on your body, energy, and with your feelings, within your cycle, within whatever chapters are currently happening for you. What if we adopt this, play around with this idea that what if I don't have to actually change before I go? I don't even have to change while I'm there. I can be just accepting of my own energy, and I can be respectful of my own energy, make choices. Do I want to even leave the house? And also then realizing that I don't have to make my feelings mean anything about me. I don't have to make them anyone else's responsibility. What if I bring the kindness in to pair my very being, my very essence with what I'm going through at the moment? So these are the things I wanted to speak to you about. So we don't have to constantly kind of weed out things from our life because like we believe we need to change before we go. We don't even have to change when we're there. I constantly say that to ladies in the circle. Nothing needs to happen before you come here. If you're ready and you feel like you don't want to, that's a different story. But forcing yourself to be in a certain vibe before you land there, don't force it. Doesn't have to happen. It doesn't even have to happen during the circle. But most likely you enjoy it more if you allow it to meet you where you are. When you allow it to meet you where you already are. And what if we play around with this concept in other areas of life? What if we allow other people to meet us where we already are? Would it be more gentle, kinder, more truthful, these interactions? And the interesting thing is, when we allow ourselves to go through these seasons, however we feel, they will come to a close, they will come to a completion. The seasons will change again. The full moon turns into a new moon. The new moon turns into a full moon. The heat of the summer will turn to a cold. The cold of the winter will turn into the lush spring again. Everything will change. Nothing will last. Everything will keep going. But imagine if we live in winter energy throughout the summer. Imagine if we live in the winter time with a high spring energy. There will always be conflict that will feel exhausting to our system. The least we can do is notice which are the seasons we are currently in and allowing our mind just to pipe down for a moment and actually live in that energy and letting these energies to complete, process, land and release in their own pace and trusting that will happen perfectly for you. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much, beautiful wild woman, for tuning in today. It was so beautiful to talk to you, and if you have any questions, any feedback, I would love to hear from you. Wishing you a beautiful week, beautiful month, beautiful season in whatever season you are in currently. Talk to you very soon again. Much love.